Hey, welcome to another edition of the Get Made Podcast. I had to bring my man back and talk about a few things. A lot of times when I look at something, Allah has blessed me with the ability to kind of have a little insight. I'm not going to deny my gifts, you know what I mean? And I believe everybody has some sort of superpower, as we call it, and you just have to tap into yours, right? And so I'm not saying I'm perfect at whatever, but I do think I have a sense of insight. If I follow through with it or not, that might be something different, right? But I had our brother on, and I've been knowing his brother for a few years now, to be honest with you. And y'all met him a couple of weeks ago on the show, and I wanted to bring him back, talk about a few things, how he has some things that have happened for him since he's been, some places he's been able to talk to, people been able to talk to, some of his thoughts, and we got a whole new introduction to him as our new co-host on the Get Made podcast. No, it's no other than my brother Saleem. Assalamu alaikum, Haki. How are you, man?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Big brother OG, I'm well. Alhamdulillah. I'm good.
Alhamdulillah.
Getting better. Good and getting better.
Inshallah, inshallah. So, our last show, man, we did, it kind of shocked me, man, how it jumped out there, especially the first few days, man. That thing just shot up like it was I didn't know what was happening. So I had to kind of look at it. What was it? It was the conversation that was being held. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think I've seen a few of your things online ever since then. Mm-hmm. Right. And when you've even talked about it, I think you was one group of sisters. They was like, "Okay, you've been doing good. Now don't say something else, right?" yeah, I thought that was funny. You know what I mean? Because you been let them have it. You're like, you've been good so far. You know what I mean? Using our corner.
Yeah, right. So I think that was when I was on Instagram, and the sister Mo Quick, she's like an influencer. I love her TikTok stuff, by the way, too. And she was pulling brothers up who were single, and it was just kind of me fooling around, and I kind of went on, and I was interested in shoot my shot at the sister, but it turned into a situation. Yeah, it went left, and so it was one of those things where she kind of got triggered by some things I was saying about cooperation from the sisters in certain regards within the marriage, and her feathers got kind of ruffled and stuff like that. So
yeah,
alhamdulillah, she's a beautiful sister, great content on Instagram. So yeah,
it was alhamdulillah. She had seemed like she was going. It seemed like that did kind of take her the wrong way when you got into the cooperation piece, and we might talk about a little bit about that. Not today. It's gonna come up. So
yeah, inshallah.
So let's do this. Let's have a real introduction of Brother Saleem to his new Get Made family.
MashaAllah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, because with being allowed to be a part of the Get Made family, you talk about manhood, accountability, development, and empowerment and enrichment, right? Those are things that talking to you when dealing with my pain from my divorce, I've been trying to channel my energies, my frustrations, my anger, my disappointment, my uncertainty, my lack of clarity into like healthy and productive things. I've been going to a lot of events lately. I've been going to my therapy sessions on a regular basis, and so for you to allow me to have a platform such as yours to be able to express myself in a healthy way, and with you being an OG that can kind of guide me and give me perspectives on thinking, is paramount. So I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do so. And that's what manhood is all about: is other men passing the baton, putting you on, giving you game and information, so that way you can be healed with good character in our society, and it's within the ummah, because I think that's something that I want to represent within myself, because I went to a revert conference yesterday,
Okay.
And it was way out in Lawrence. It was like an hour drive, and I was like, "Whoa!" And I got there, and it was great. It was a round table, like a circle type of event.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that I represent my community where I come from, which is the Black community. As a Black Muslim, so it's very important that we heal and take manhood, accountability, and all these things seriously because people are watching our community, and they have misinformation about our community. So the men have to step up and spearhead the efforts to change our narratives and how we appear in the community because other communities are watching us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very important, Aki.
No, mashallah, man, and I think I have the brother Kabir on last week,
Yeah,
and we kind of talked about some of this, right? As
yeah,
far as generations tapping into each generation, right?
mhm,
Me being able to tap into you being able to tap into the generation behind you. You see
mhm,
what I'm saying? And then that's how we kind of strengthen this link and keep this bond going. Um, I would be I would be sad. It would be a sad situation if I couldn't show that in action, right?
mm,
And so, I talk it, right? But I also have to show it, right?
mm.
How do so we get to a position of bringing, if we're gonna bring people up, we have to be able to know how to work together. So,
Yes,
my thought was, let me also be a part of the solution versus talking about it.
right.
And so here we are, here today, trying to make this thing happen. You know what I mean? And we tapping into each other, we tapping into the community, and we want to try to make some situations work from there. Just so our audience know, how old are you again?
I'm 41.
41. All
Yeah.
right. And you're not originally from Cincinnati, right? But you were living there since you was like a very young child.
Yeah, so my formative years. So I was born in Arizona, so Maricopa County, Arizona. But I left Arizona when I was like second grade.
Mm-hmm.
And which is a story in itself. That I'm thinking about writing a book about that because my therapist got me thinking about my formative years. And so I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in Arizona, and then I moved to Cincinnati when I was very, very young. And so we went right into the Laura Holmes projects,
Mm-hmm.
the smokestacks, right?
Right,
So,
right. I used to live in Lincoln Courts.
yeah, so imagine, my family, my mom grew up in the T, Wynn Terrace.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
So
I used to live in Winter Terrace.
yeah, how my mom ended up in
Matter of fact,
Arizona.
Garden Hills. I used to actually live in Garden Hills.
Oh yeah, yeah. So how my mom ended up in Arizona to conceive me, my twin brother. I have a twin. It's a beautiful story. But it's a story that's filled with a lot of broken situations, like a lot of it's deep. So, but then we moved to Cincinnati, and then to go into a housing projects and like having to adjust, and you sound different, you look different, still Black American, but I was on the West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
for those formative years, dealing with health issues, extremely bad asthma and things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. A single mom trying to raise two twin boys, and then I go off into getting into the streets. I go off into getting into trouble, So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's very interesting, right? But yeah, but I'm from Arizona. I was born in Arizona, but I claimed the Natty because that's where my game came
That's where
from.
the game come from.
The game, yeah, that's what I don't remember anything about Arizona like that. It was more so I had my run-ins with the CPD and activism work and got my degrees and my high school diploma and
Mm-hmm.
my charges and stuff like that. You know
See,
how what I'm saying. So the Natty is just that's my home. That's what I claim. That's my hometown.
I know you said you had a sibling, there's a twin, right? Y'all, there's still contact there. So what's going on
Yeah, he still lived there. He guess where he lived at
in Cincinnati?
in the T. He still live in the T.
Okay.
He live in the T. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So and my mom stays right off of in that same area, but she lives off of what's that Spring Grove?
Uh huh.
Yeah, she's around in that area. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, but yeah, my whole family grew up in the T. So my aunties, my great aunt, So, but my origins is from Richmond, Kentucky. That's where my family's
Okay,
from.
so we're all real intense purpose, and I know some of our Get Made podcasts don't know this conversation. We kind of having an open conversation right now for our homies.
Yeah.
Right? So you really grew up in Winton Terrace.
No, I grew up. So no. My mom is from there. She's from there.
Okay.
She went to Southern Baptist Church. She's a Baptist. But no, I grew up in the stacks, the smokestacks. So
Okay.
we call it SP. That's what.
Okay. All right, I got you. I was just saying, because I heard a lot of claim of Winton Terrace.
No, my mom, she's from the T. That's my mom.
Okay.
That's where the family really.
All right. Well, we're going back to the conversation. We're gonna put everybody else back into real this other conversation. We can talk about that for like 5 hours straight. Back here on the other back here laughing too, right? Because
right.
Like, oh my God, they go on talking. Because obviously she's from Cincinnati as well, so she know everything's happening, right?
Yeah.
So it's an honor to have you, man. You accepted when I asked you. You accepted. I just wanted people to know when I asked, you accept. And I want to, I know I have a vision, of course, with the Get Made podcast. I want you to be able to expound on some of the offerings you bring, because we always say bring to the table, right?
Yeah.
Women think that's just the thing we say to them. No, everybody got to come bring something to the table.
Right.
We had a cat. Our cat the other day came and brought a mouse and sat it in front of the house. Like she trying to bring something to the table. You know what I'm saying? So everybody brings something to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Right?
So in this regard, man, where do you see yourself functioning? And how would you think the audience would like to see you function?
Right. Well, I think that what I bring to the table to the Get Made family is the content, right? Being a person that's really good with social media. I'm on the platforms, TikTok, things of that nature. But I go to events and I love to record and bring the content to the family. For example, I went to a end of life conference right before you had Abdul Kabir on. So my goal is to bring the content to the family, bring a different perspective, a young Black Muslims perspective to the family, but to enhance the conversation, right? To enhance what I'm seeing in the community from my lens, but also to bring the manhood perspective, to bring the development, enrichment through whether it be businesses. I'm also a marketer, and that's what I have my degree in, marketing and management. So I like to promote businesses and put people on like you did with me. So I want to be able to promote businesses and say, hey, listen, I read a good book from the good sister right here, it's The End of Life, by Taryn Lynn Sadiq, that I went to the conference for got her book. I want to be able to bring these individuals onto our podcast and interview them and get some game from them to bring to. Mainly, my focus is the Black Muslim community. That's what I think that I want to focus on, but it's for everybody. But I'm really concerned about our wellness as Black American Muslims or Black Muslims in general. I'm concerned about our healing and our wellness. So I want to bring anything that can bring wellness, some money, opportunities, to the family. So that's where I come into. Traveling to events like such as your event coming up in June, right?
Right, in Baltimore, right? The Muslim Wellness Summit. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a fantastic,
absolutely,
conference summit as well. I have some great people going to be there. Brother Shadid Muhammad, Akil Ingram, Mufti Munir, got the sister Sharon A. Davis. She's going to be there. Of course, I'm going to be on the program. I'm hosting the program, and so I'm looking forward to bringing our clinicians. There's a young brother that's on TikTok called The Therapist, formerly known as, right? He's Muslim as well, right? Muslim, right? And so he has not a lot of nice content over there. So I'm bringing a few people. Sister Vanya Lawrence, she's a doctor up in a nurse practitioner up in New Jersey. She's been on here as well. She does a lot of things from a holistic standpoint as well, but she definitely know her craft, right?
Right.
So and we're looking at this thing, man, so people can have an understanding, and even more of what I'm saying. we look at wellness is something that we really don't take a real good deep dive into. We think wellness is always sometime, well, I'm gonna go to a spa. I'm just gonna meditate on it.
Mhm.
Okay, those are things that you do in wellness, but we got areas of wellness that we have to really cover.
Yes,
And if we are now educated about them and what we can do in them, then we can kind of make ourselves, we can heal properly, right?
absolutely.
And so those areas are spiritual, intellectual, mental and emotional, physical and social,
Taking
right?
notes, by the way.
Huh?
I'm taking notes, by the way. You
Well,
know.
okay, all
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
so, and in this aspect, finance was actually left out of it because you get yourself together, that money gonna jump at you anyway, right?
True.
And but what is it to have money, but then you don't have the rest of your stuff to go with it,
Mhm.
you know? And so the only thing you do then becomes a part person who pay bills, right? And so we want to be able to bring these other 6 areas into play, right? Certain areas I think we haven't looked at properly, and some of them we've even neglected,
Mm.
right? And so once we are able to do that, then we can start the ball rolling. This thing may not get straight in my lifetime, but at least I'm trying to lay the foundation for us to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
That way, as the Get Made podcast, continue to present and host different things. Not only will I be there, or if I'm not there, you there,
Yes.
right? And so, and we build a community, our brothers, bringing brothers in, building a community, because our primary focus is the black man so he can take care of the black family.
That's the ultimate goal.
You see what I'm saying? And how can, instead of us continue to get beat down, I'm not here to just give you a safe haven so you can hide from the rocks that's getting thrown. I'm trying to give you a shield to how to and make sure that if you got to throw a rock back, you can, but how to get out of the war.
Mm.
It's time for us as black men to stop fighting that war.
Right.
That's a senseless war. This gender thing and all this gender wars and all that type of stuff. But you ain't. I mean, yeah, there's some problems we have, but how do we each individual take accountability? That's why at the Get Made podcast we say what we build in manhood, demanding accountability, promoting development, and last but not least, providing tools for enrichment. Right.
Enrichment. Right.
But we have to also have if we talk about wellness, even here, we got to have a whole rounded aspect of what that looks like.
Yes.
And it just can't keep coming from me.
Right.
That's the reason why I always bring in guests.
Right.
But now, even with you and I being able to, I think it can be even flourish even more. We have this conversation in front of the audience. Want to introduce the brother, make sure that you know that, he's going to be on. As always, we're going to be hitting it at 7 p.m. every Monday. Y'all be able to catch this podcast every Monday at 7 p.m. And so, how has things been for you after this show? How has your divorce process been right now?
It's been good. There's been more up days and down days now, right? I've been able to, going back and listening to the podcast. Really, it reminded me of that I'm really trying to do my work, and I really want to heal and be well. But it also opened the opportunity and door for people to reach out to me and say, "Hey, Saleem, I'm going, what you were saying, and it was deep, like it was a real conversation and it was candid." And I think that people gain some insight to what men go through post divorce. But people have been reaching out to me. I think I'm famous now. I don't know.
Man, you already that before you.
Listen, I went to an event and the people like, "I know you." I'm like, I was on the Get Made podcast just a few weeks ago, so maybe you know me from that, But
Nah, they said, I've been seeing your individual work. You know what I mean? Because you've been doing this for a minute, bro. You just ain't new to this game now.
Yeah. So, but my content was a lot different. My content was more along the line of borderline black empowerment, radical type stuff, and I think, but it wasn't conducive to like my wellness because I came off like this angry black man, and if I'm an angry black man, then so be it. But I'm not an angry black man. I'm just a black man that's trying to figure things out. But I'm also a Muslim, so it was colliding, right? It was causing some kind of turmoil. So I had to like really realize that okay, you might need to put that kind of content down, and you're better and you're able to do better content than just that kind of content because you're articulate. You're thoughtful, you're insightful, and you ask great questions. So, I mean, I just didn't want to pigeonhole myself into that kind of content anymore. But my journey through this divorce, I think, like I said, it opened up a conversation about, like I said, what men go through, but it's also therapeutic for me. But it also gave the sisters some insight too, as well as like, hey, before you think about divorcing this brother or going through this situation, here's how it can impact him. Now, if you have children and it's to a point where he's so broken up and he's not well to the point where he can't function, he might be damaged for a very, very long time, especially if he doesn't have the tools around him to do his healing or do his work, or it's refusing to do his work because he's so angry and so mad. So what you've allowed me to do was remove the clouds from around me so that way I can kind of get to the sunshine to do my healing. Because I mean, I was truly devastated to the point where, like I said, it was days I couldn't even get out of bed. I was to the point I lost weight. I was, I had to go through therapy and on antidepressants and stuff like that, and still doing those things, right? Still, because there's days where I feel like I want to crash out, and I'm still hurt, but the hurt is leaving because I got individuals like you, my therapist, talking about my divorce in a healthy way. It's really alhamdulillah, because without that, I don't think that, I would be as far as I am in my healing process right now.
Well, thank you for giving me, just even mentioning me in that, all this work is your work. You know what I mean? Hey, I could be as a guy, the soundboard and all that good type of stuff there,
Right.
But you're putting in that work,
Yeah.
what I mean? And anybody who's ever worked with me know that, I have them make sure put in the work. I'm here to support them, then and during sessions and after sessions.
Yep.
Because I'm a brother too.
Yeah, a good brother in the sense of you're gonna tell it straight, like Aki, that's not what you're gonna do, and you giving real guidance from an OG perspective, but from a Muslim. And like I said, you've been paramount, just in the sense of even allowing me to come on to the Get Made podcast as a regular. Like it means a lot because sometimes the baton don't get passed and information can be misinformation or as the sister say in her book. I love this book, by the way. Can I give a shout out real quick?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
This is
matter of fact, I'm giving you a commission right now live so we can bring this sister on the show.
Yes, I want to bring her on the show. This is it's called A Muslim Marriage Makeover by Akila Nafisa Rashid. I'm on chapter 5 of this book.
Okay. Very,
very good book. And this is a thick book here. Like, I mean, she really, when I finally got Aki, there's some brilliant sisters out here. The Muslim sisters, we got some cold ones out here. Like, when I mean cold, not in a bad way. I mean, like, these sisters.
Right. Like, they got it going on.
Got it going on. You hear me? Like, I mean, nurses, what you want, right? Nurses, you want a doctor, you want to look. We got all of them in the community, and these are sisters who are willing to help us as brothers, as women, to help us heal and do things right. So in her book, the Muslim Makeover by Sister Akila, she goes into talking about these unenlightened, what do you call it? Unenlightened behaviors.
Uh-huh.
What is it? I'm gonna try to say it right. Hold on. Yeah, unenlightened traditions that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes into that. So it's one of those things where like there's things out here that we can use, and there's books, and I'm committed to learning how to be a good husband, learning about marriage. But if we don't have these conversations and we're not reading and we're not engaging with the professionals who are the experts in their arena, we're not getting the right information, and therefore we become unenlightened about how we are approaching things. So, but yeah, I want to bring her on. This sister right here.
And yeah. So I'm put you in charge of that. Unless you can't handle it, then you just pass it to me and give me our information. I try to catch up with her. But
Yes.
You already have you developed a relationship with the sister as far as you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have.
Oh yeah, so that's all on you, man.
Yeah, I got it. So I want to bring her on. I want to bring some people on about polygyny. I don't know if we had them on already, but there's a couple out there I want to bring on for polygyny, things of that nature. So I want to bring some different kind of content to the Get Made arena that I think that will be pivotal, not only from a content standpoint, but it also be great for educational and enlightened viewpoint, so that we can take from it and be stronger, right? So,
Inshallah,
inshallah.
inshallah, that's going to be a beautiful thing, man. You know, we're looking to make sure that we bring this thing up a little bit more,
Right.
promote it to be a little bit different. Again, we like a year and some months old now.
Yeah.
I mean, and so the idea is continue to grow, right,
Mhm.
and get better. You know,
Yes.
and inshallah, we're gonna be on top. So.
Yes.
And when I say top, that just means we're going to be able to continue to keep giving this information to the people, not looking for positioning, right? So, um, if Allah allows it to happen, then it is what it is,
It
right?
is. Mashallah.
But yeah, this is going to be one beautiful situation, man. So, if I was to say to you, what are three things
Mhm.
as black men you would like to see us do just a tad differently, what would that be? And if you had the opportunity to be able to speak to your brothers and give them some type of skill in these areas, what would they be?
Ooh, that's deep. You be asking them deep questions, man. You know, mashallah, I love it.
Alhamdulillah.
So three things that I would give black men, you know, and I'm still a 41-year-old black man who's still figuring out. And you got to understand, I came from a lot of unenlightenment, if I can say that.
Okay, well I'm gonna change my question because you make a good point. So I'm gonna change my question. As a 41-year-old man in this space, group with another group, a bunch of 41-year-old men who probably in similar situations, what would you want brought to the table in order for you to feel whole, to get whole?
To feel whole and get whole. So I think the first thing would be, you know, this holding firm to this deen, right? Holding firm to this to Allah, and holding firm to what we know that can improve our characters, right? But also letting go of a lot of hurt and disappointment and anger that we have inside, and that's been stored up, and really do the healing to get rid of that is what I would say. But I would also say also showing up for our women and our children the best we can. And I'm seeing a lot of black men who are doing that. They're standing up, but standing up in a very upright way, you know, best as possible. You know, and I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but I want to see more of that from us, you know, and really dealing with our issues, man. Because I feel like some brothers walk around here with a lot of issues. They feel like people don't understand them. They feel like they're feeling rejected, you know, and then the society's beating them up. And then you have things that happen like failed marriages, like in my case, failed marriages and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be lack of resources, but that's what I would want to see. Those three things.
Mashallah. So I'm glad and interested that you said these things, right?
Yeah.
Especially as black men, probably.
Oh yeah. Also, I'm sorry, and our health. Our health is, yeah. I'm sorry. I add that last thing to the back.
Well, I think that's a great ad, to be honest with you. As men who are a generation above you, we may not have that problem, but there might be a transitional problem. But I think some of our issues actually still intersect.
Yes, they do.
Right? Because first and foremost, we're black men,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so Muslim, whatever, I got some Christians that's on the show as well, right? So the reality of it is how do we make these intersections, learn from each other in these intersections, right? And as we cross and interweave and everything, our fabric of life all together, there's me, the group I hang with, there's you, the group you kind of care with. We can we can introduce these people to these groups, then other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we can continue to be in a position of One, being able to know each other.
Yes.
Two, then being able to help each other out in the time of need. And three, be a reference for or against you when the time come up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, knowing that my referral can actually be against you, then will make you don't hide from me, because if you hide from me, you run into Saleem.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Get away from the accountability part.
right? You see what I'm saying? So, because we done got this line, this network kind of together, you just can't run and bounce from masjid to bastion, city to city, because everybody knows somebody. We're gonna run it. Hey man, you know such and such and such. Yeah, man, that brother cool brother. How you know he cool? What's cool about it? You see what I'm saying? And we got to learn how to ask these type of questions.
Right.
You know what I mean? And therefore, then we protect the community, because one of the things I've always heard you say, even if it was radical times or if it's today, you know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you a lot, you still got a little radical in you, bro. Which I like it, you know what I mean? And so
That's what I was afraid of too. I'm like, I don't want to say anything on these because listen, behind this mic, the people came to my door one time behind this. Yeah, so I got to be real careful.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's why I was like kind of concerned.
Yeah,
like,
we don't want to deal with ignorance either.
Nah. I don't want the people coming to my door saying anything to me about anything.
Right. I ain't got enough money to get over. I ain't got enough money to buy no bodyguards right now. So,
but I evolved past some of those traditions.
Alhamdulillah. But we can kind of do a thing to where this thing is. Then we're truly getting made.
Yes.
And the idea here is to have made men.
Made man, I like that. You're a made man now.
Yeah, you're a made man, bro. You're a made man.
Yeah, made man.
You're a made man.
And I was thinking, when I come to the wellness summit, now that I'm a made man, I'm gonna need my chain now. You come put the chain on me like Dame Dash did when I'm a little member of the Get Made team.
Yeah, probably Get Made, that right.
I'm probably Get Made, so right, but you're right. You're right.
And so, inshallah, then as I able to do with you, if you're able to give to me, I'll be able to cut you into certain things. You be able to, and we interweave these connections, man. Our people. That's how they get us, because they keep us stagnated, keep us separated, keep us looking at each other all funny. You know what I mean? And when it's really real people out there who really do the work, and we paying attention to the fringe. We giving all this attention to these people who are out here in the high grass.
Right.
And we got all this beautiful mowed lawn right here. They got a green. I look at it as a golf course. People think golf is about playing against somebody else. But golf is about playing against the course.
Right. The terrain.
You got to beat the course.
Yeah.
Right. If you got 4 strokes to make it to a particular putt. The thing in the ground. Now I forgot what it is now. But anyway, the hole, right? You made it to the hole, right? And you got 4 times to get there. You can do it in 3. That's why they reward you if somebody make a hole in 1.
Right.
Oh man, they pay them good for that. They give them good points for that. Right. But if it takes 4, if you can do it in 3, that means you won better than the course. If you can do it in 2, that means you 2 better than the course. You see what I'm saying? And so the idea is to try to do your best to stay better than the course. What course is this? That's life.
Ooh, that's deep. I like that.
We playing against life. I ain't playing against you. I'm playing against life. I'm trying to make it from the birth date to the death date. With the best deeds that I could possibly get. It took me a while to learn that.
Right.
And in some ways, I had that kind of learn that on my own.
And that's what's going on.
Exactly.
It's like for me, my whole life at this point at 41 has been nothing but just trial and error, messing up, and then having to deal and hold the mistakes in your L's. But if you have somebody that's willing to give you the right golf club, the right caddy, the terrain information of the course, to give you information like, this course got a pond over here, they got the sands over here, but give you the right drivers, give you the right, use this instead of this. Your strokes will be less. And
exactly.
Right. And so all my life it's been nothing but trial and error. Just figuring going into marriages, not having nobody to give me the information on how to stay in a marriage. I'm just doing it on my own. And I got 9 years in, which was alhamdulillah. I was like, okay, I'm reflecting back on that. Like, you did 9 years, that's saying something. One brother Naeem told me that at Juma the other day. He's like, man, you know what? 9 years is a long time. There were some brothers being in and out of marriages. I know brothers who've been married 10 times. I'm like, for real? It blew me away. Because my teachers to get married was never to be divorced. It's always to stay in my marriages because I know what that brings. I value that. But yeah, but to lower those swings, right?
Exactly. You know what I mean? And even in playing the course, when playing the course, what you think they got a caddy for? The caddy ain't there just to carry the bag. Caddy there to tell them, let them know, hey, now you might want to look at this right here.
Yeah,
coaching them through.
Binoculars. I see that you got the trees over here, and
right. You might need to use this iron right here in order to stay away from that. You can probably drive it just a tad further because you can clear that right. You can clear that right there. And so this is what that Get Made podcast is about.
Yes,
we doing caddy work.
Yeah.
We doing caddy work. Caddies are very important. So and it's almost kind of, people have to do it because of the way their money might be, but it's kind of a shame when a person's out on the golf course and they ain't got nobody to caddy for them.
Yeah, because the imagery of that alone, imagine if Tiger Woods came to the, one of the best golfers that we ever seen. He's showing up, in the all white dominated profession,
right?
And he ain't got a caddy. His clubs ain't right.
Exactly. You see,
pure talent, but listen, pure talent though.
Pure talent.
Yeah, you ain't got the tools. You ain't got the caddy, the tools. You ain't got, but you just out there.
And that's what black manhood looks like to me.
Yeah, that's what it is. You just out here. You out here trying to figure out your life, your career. You trying to figure out how to coexist with the women that you love and want to be married to. You dealing now with the social media element. You dealing with sisters with their mind frame, feminism, and then you got brothers on the red pill, blue pill tip. You got you dealing with insecurities about where you at in your life. Starting in my case, I'm starting from ground zero, -0. No inheritance coming, no nothing, and you just out here,
right?
And you're asked to navigate this, and don't make a mistake because you play Monopoly and you go right to jail if you don't.
All right, you laying around playing. You go somewhere and you ain't got no business being. You out of here.
You out of here. And so what's happening here is, as a father, I'm trying to avoid those pitfalls for my children. Right. I'm playing the game until took some horrible blows. So went to jail, all that. Can't pass go, can't do this, can't do that. And so it's up to us to be going back to manhood, so that way we can try to guide our children the right way on this board, on this chessboard, or this golf course, or whatever you want to call it, right? So they can have an advantage, and then we can leave them something, leave them an inheritance, a legacy. And to me, it should be knowledge and money.
Right.
I don't want my kids coming out here broke and not having what they need, and they don't have opportunities because I didn't prepare myself. And that's what going back to the inner life thing was about, man. This right here, the inner life situation, having a will and insurance and all that kind of stuff, it blew my mind. So yeah.
So we're gonna try to make sure we get the sister on, man, because we got to make sure we have a whole well-rounded understanding of manhood.
Yes.
We want to take this thing up a little higher. We want people to be able to check us out. We're not here to preach to you, right? But we are here to try to give you information, share information with you. And y'all also can reach us on a one-on-one basis, right? If you're looking for, somebody to help you out. I've been doing this work, over 20 years now. You know what I mean? Just putting in this type of work, working with brothers, working with families, working with sisters. I've kind of worked with a whole group of people. You know what I mean? I've done the marriage counseling. We've done it all.
Mashallah.
Right. And so, I think too, even though marriage counseling, couples counseling is great.
Right.
It is great, but it's not going to do any good if you don't have some individual stuff going on with it. Because a lot of times people got to clear out those things that are personally bothering them
Yes.
in order to be right in a relationship.
Yes.
I'm not saying people going to still do that and they ain't been in relationships and they haven't made it. It's been on some trial and error. Again, it's been some trial and error. But at some point or another, either they decide not to even deal with the stuff that they had in the past, the folks they had in the past, and the things that have helped create turmoil within their life,
Mm-hmm.
or they pull it along with them like a boulder to a chain.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And they drag it along with them with everything they do, right? And so, as men, we don't talk about that. We don't have spaces to kind of talk about that,
Right.
and or people to talk about that with and feel safe,
Right.
right? I want to make sure that we make a safer environment here to Get Made Podcast. You know what I mean? And yeah, I want women to learn too. I
Yeah.
need women to learn their man, just like men need to learn women. I think there's been a push not to really learn and understand manhood. And for some of us, we haven't been exhibited it well.
I 1,000% agree.
You know, so we both kind of in a bad situation, men and women. Okay, well, here's something we can do something about that,
Yes.
right? And I want to again thank you, man, for being in this fight, and coming on to this podcast, right? So, but with that, we're gonna close, and I want you to be able to tell them where they can actually find you, and what might be some things going on in the community that you think would be interesting for the people to know within the next week or so.
So again, you can find me on TikTok, bro Saleem, or or Instagram at bro Saleem, bro.Saleem too, and then on TikTok, bro.Saleem. As far as the community is concerned, right now I don't have much. I said I went to the stuff I went to already ended, which was the end of life event. With I met brother Naeem there, and he man, this right here to me was slept on. It was only about 3 men at this event,
Mm.
that blew me away. I'm like,
And that's the problem, bro. You gonna be surprised, man. You gonna be surprised, man. I'm bringing you into this thing, man. You are gonna see how we don't show up, though.
we are not, but my thing is, when you're a man that's taking your role as a husband and a fiduciary seriously, and your legacy serious, how did you not show up to a wellness event that you're throwing on by another black man like yourself? The wellness event is coming up. How did you not show up for those events so that we can get the information we need to be the men that our women are proud of? Like I'm proud that he left me an inheritance and that he didn't leave us with having a fish fry. I'm happy that he read this book so that way he know that, hey, you should have a will, brother. You should have this and this and this and that, brother, in order. So that way we ain't scrambling if you get your brains blown out or something like that, or you die of a heart attack because you stressed out because you ain't eating right? Like it means like deep stuff that we need to dive into, and that's getting your golf club, that's getting your swing on, right? So, but yeah, this right here, I went to this event. Then of course, as men, we don't have the all the answers, but man, there's people out here like the sister who's writing books. This book, thick than a mug, right? There's books about this marriage and how this should be approached from a male perspective and a female perspective. Like, so if you want to talk about you want to be the best husband and the best father, and you going off of no information, you just out here winging it. You out here just winging it, right? And then some people they wing it and they still do good. But when you start to fail and you're not doing good, it's time for a timeout. You need some information to help you be better, right? And so that's what I'm all about for right now. But so I want to introduce the family to me in the sense of, hey, if you got an upcoming conference coming up or an event coming up like you got, right? The Muslim Wellness Summit on June 27th and 28th in Baltimore, which I plan on being there. I'm definitely going to I'm going to be there. But if you got an event, whether it be a marriage conference, whether it be, end of life conference, or it could be it could be a wedding. I don't know. It could be an opening of a business you want to promote. This halal, or not halal. I mean, as far as it's a black owned business, because we are black men and black women who are Muslims, but we still love our communities that we come from. So if you have anything that you want to, position or show us and let us know that's going on, that we need to be a part of, whether it be like, Eid events. It could be anything that we need to know about that this for wellness and family and unity. We should know about it. So, but right now I don't have anything. So if you wanna let me know about your event, again, I'm on TikTok. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook, but you can find me on Facebook. If you follow Hassan, you might see me there. It's one of his friends, but I am on Facebook as well. But I'm open to the opportunity to promote and bring information to our family, the Get Made podcast family, like never before. So
All right, all right.
yep.
So with that, everybody, I just want to kind of make an introduction. Hey, make some comments, give us some suggestions. Y'all can do it in the inbox, y'all can do it in the comment section. Let us know what you think that we can do to kind of bring a little bit more well-roundedness to the black man experience, right? The black Muslim experience. And so I want you to make sure that you do that. Also, by all means, I have a book signing actually this weekend, uh, the 17th of May, up in Rome, Georgia. I'm going up there to see some of the homies there. Because when I moved south, bro, that's where I moved to.
I didn't know that.
And and I was there, man, and I got there in my teenage years, right? And so I made a lot of connections, man. I was only there on ground, man, about 4 or 5 years before I went to prison, right? But it was a lot that took place within them 4 or 5 years, man. People thought act like I was born there at one point,
Oh
you know.
wow.
And so, because I just got into the community, and I was in various different communities. I just didn't one on my side of town. I was on a lot of sides of towns, you know what I mean, and just doing my thing, man. But nevertheless, um, I'm going up there. I'm going to be at Jazzy T's. That's out on Redmond Circle, 1850 Redmond Circle, Rome, Georgia. Gonna be there from 12 to 3. Now, don't think y'all can get that too, and then think I ain't gonna get. I might like leave on y'all now. I ain't gonna try to be there all day and y'all waiting all day. All right, come
No,
on in. I got to talk to some people.
let,
Come
let me
on in so we can enjoy ourselves. Eat some of these wings out here. And eat some of this good food. If they say she got this mean, like smoothie, I guess what you call it, right? It's that thing is cold blooded, man. So
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna go to that. I'm gonna
and
because I
so
want
we
to.
check it out. It's gonna be from like I said from 12 to 3. Please come up, show up. I have books there that you get. I autograph the books there for you. And then on June 27th, 28th. Now this is gonna be the big boy right here, right? This is the Muslim Wellness Summit, and we're going to be there. You hear the brother say he's going to be there. We're talking about strengthening communities through faith, family, and fulfillment. I'm sure you have seen the flyers a couple of times floating in various places. Sister Slap in Baltimore with BAM, Baltimore area Muslims. I want to give a shout out to that. New Jersey Muslims up there, and I think their Facebook group up there. Shout out to them. Shout out to the brothers over in Michigan. They be sharing my stuff. Sister here, Sister Cisse down here, Aisha Cisse, she was sharing my stuff down here. And so they've been supporters of the Get Made podcast, right? And the Get Made podcast representing this Muslim Summit, Muslim Wellness Summit. I have brother Shadid Muhammad there, brother Akil Ingram there. That's Imam Akil Ingram. Gonna have our brother Mufti Munir. You know what I mean? He's always have a fascinating thing. I mean, he's a little younger than you, my man.
Oh
And
wow.
he five, bro. That
Oh
brother
yeah.
five. Man. So you know, then of course we have some sisters there as well. So it's just not going to be a whole bunch of men parading up in front of folks. We got real, live, licensing, credentialed people. Okay, this ain't the brother in the masjid in the corner just sitting there chopping it. All right. These are real professional people who are trying to link our lives to proper with Islam and with how to get over some of the things that we got. This PTSS, this post traumatic slave syndrome going on. We
Yeah.
still suffer from some of that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We still old niggas and new Muslims. All right. You know,
Yeah.
and we trying to get out of that,
Absolutely.
because Real talk, we ain't doing nothing but keep passing that down.
We are.
You know
We
what I
got
mean? And
traumas.
so and we got to do something different. So please show up. You can get the tickets at my site, HaasonClay.net. You can click on the flyer, and I think there's a link on the flyer or a QR code on the flyer. You can definitely check that out. Vendor, we still got vendor spaces there. So if you're a vendor, you can please show up. You can contact us. Was that the Get Made Productions at gmail.com. Um, I think she put it all in the thing because that's a lot for me to be spelling out right now.
She did.
But
Where they can find it.
well, you can find me. So if you want to email me, let me ask me some questions about how to vend or how to get there and all this good stuff there. We're ready to kind of serve and help you out. All right. So that's Baltimore at the Assembly Room. I forgot to tell you, at the Assembly Room. And Real Talk Man Assembly Room, owned by some African Americans, and another brother's actually part owner in it. You know what I mean? So, I keep his name silent because he don't want everybody to know his name like that. So, but just let you know, this is us we working with.
Right. And like
Right.
I said, the sisters, they show up to these events, brothers. So if you want to
Oh
go,
man, sister show up crazy. I don't get it
they
twisted.
show
Sister
up.
show
So
up strong.
man, listen, forget a marriage conference. Come to some of these other events that you think that, and you go in there and you be like, okay. So, but it's not. But you don't know who you might meet at these events.
And that's the purpose. That's the purpose.
Yeah,
You
you
see
never
what
know
I'm
who you
saying?
might
That's the
meet.
purpose. Not only to get something, then be able to network. And I've seen sisters. Now this happened with sisters. Some brothers too. I see sisters, man. They don't form full business by coming to spots like this and getting to know each other, trading out information, all this old type of stuff.
We got
Starting
to show up.
lifelong friendships, man. Like one
Yeah.
sister, man, my wife was sister were besties on the internet before they even met each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was crazy. I thought that was crazy, man.
Yeah.
They chopping it, they kicking it. I mean, they chopping and screwing with it. Boy, they doing it, right?
Yeah.
I like, man, have you ever met this sister yet? No. You know what I mean? But we met it hard. And I mean, they love each other, man. And they talk, man. They get on my nerve. I love them, though. You know what I mean? And, but alhamdulillah, man, the sister
Right.
and her husband are good people. You know what I mean? I had
Alhamdulillah.
the opportunity to be on Umrah with him, her husband. We were roommates.
Oh wow.
So, you see how this thing, when we start getting together, it start drawing closer.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
That's the Ummah. That's why I'm supposed to be within the Ummah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We take this stuff offline, bring it in real life. We start merging this thing together, right, man, and we start getting stronger that way.
Right, and that's how the marriages happen. That's how, okay, I got my son, he about to turn 24, and he in the military, and I seen your son at the conference, I mean your daughter at the conference or whatever it may be. Let's try to hook this up and see if there's a connection there, or it could be opportunity that you might not know. Like when I met that lawyer at the in a life conference who broke the whole will game down, the state, how you have things set up. I was like, this guy here the whole time. I didn't even know. Like, I mean, so but it's all about that connectionness and strengthening each other. And who knows who is how it's about.
Exactly.
That's what white folks do. They know that's they know. Right. Okay, I got a guy he owns a dealership, and Joey needs a job, and I know a guy who can do that, and so.
Right. Is a phrase out there called 6 degrees of separation. It was a phrase before it was a movie, y'all. Just want y'all to know that Will Smith and them didn't come up with that. Right. It was a phrase before the movie came out. But yeah, it's a 6 you 6 people away from the person that you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In order to make something happen. I think in this life, man, especially with the internet, it's probably gotten even shorter now. You know what I mean? It might be 4 people, 4 degrees of separation at this point. Right. So, we don't know, sometimes we get quicker than that. But the idea though is how do we network and be good with each other, help each other build this fence strong enough so it doesn't get knocked down, and we can protect ourselves, preserve ourselves, and yet still prosper. Right. So that's what we're looking at here. You can always catch us to Get Made Podcast on Mondays at starting. We release on Mondays at 7 p.m. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. I don't know if it's a subscribe button, it's a like button, it's whatever type of button it is on YouTube. Check me out on YouTube, the Get Made Podcast. Made is an acronym. It's spelled M.A.D.E podcast, the Get Made Podcast. Please hit the subscription button. Please hit the subscription button. And then of course follow me on, connect with me, because they say that's the word now. Connect with me on TikTok, and also you can follow me on Instagram. Both of them is the Hassan Clay Experience. All right, the experience
before you go,
instead of E, huh?
Before you go, I just got another event coming up. So the Light of Islam Community series, Seeking Marriage, Finding a Spouse with Intention. You're going to have email Nadeem Ali, email Rashid Abdul Rahim, and Atia Hatcher as speaker on Wednesday, May 21st, 6:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. at 1529 Oakview Road, Decatur, Georgia, 30030. There's just going to be food for purchase. That's going to be the Light of Islam Community Series. I don't know if you can see that right there, but it's,
all right. If you got a flyer on that, man, share that flyer so we can put that out there.
I will. But that's I'm about to ask my therapist, can I go to that event? And my therapist is the one speaking at the event, So
okay, get out your name out. Don't give out too much information like that without, But you ain't got no shame. That's what's happening. You know what I mean? You do what you do. You know what I mean? That's a part of it. You have no regrets, then you do what you do. You
right.
understand? And so, by all means, and that's a good brother. You know what I mean? Yes. So, alhamdulillah. If y'all in the area at that time on the 21st, be able to check it out. We're going to try to connect this community.
Yes.
We're going to connect this community. That's what we're here to do. And it's brothers, not just sisters, because sisters doing it. I ain't trying to take sisters' place. I'm just trying to step in where I'm supposed to step in at. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother show that I do on that one. But as far as brothers and sisters knowing their lanes, just hang in their lanes. I'm letting sisters deal their lane.
Yeah.
Right? But that's a whole nother topic. I ain't open no topics up. And so, we just want everybody to continue tune in, tell a friend about us, show some people. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people check it out because I be seeing people, man, I go in the mad shit. Man, I checked out your episode when they ain't like nothing or something, but they done checked out and told me about the whole episode.
Right. Like and comment. The comments is what you really need.
Yeah, I need you to comment. At least just say, hey, look, salam alaikum or something. Just let me know that you was there. Right. Shoot me a comment. So by all means, we looking forward to it. And we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it. May Allah continue to increase us all in good in this life and the next. May He preserve us. May He protect us. May He provide us with the information that we need, the knowledge that we need to be great, to be better. May He grant us beneficial knowledge. May He teach us that which will benefit us and provide us with knowledge which derive benefit. Ameen. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ameen. All right. My man, we're going to see you next week, man. We're going to talk again this week. You know me and you. We'll talk.
Okay.
And so, everybody, next week, 7 p.m. Y'all have a great weekend, a great week.